Hello, everybody. It is July the 5th, 2020. Episode number 126, I think. It's a guess. I didn't feel like counting on the way. Hello. This is Wrestleview Weekly. I am Doug Lackey, veteran columnist of Wrestleview.com and co-host of Wrestleview Live alongside the effervescent editor-in-chief of Wrestleview.com, Mike Tedesco, where we cover all of the major WWE pay-per-views immediately following them right here on the Wrestleview YouTube channel. How is everybody? I trust that everyone has had a happy America birthday. That was yesterday. How I'm sure there weren't a lot of fireworks shows that you could go to, but instead you just went outside and everyone just went willy-nilly with their fireworks and stuff. We kind of did that. Deanna and I did that. So yes, we partook in that, as well as Deanna and I's 5th anniversary was the day before. We met on the day before the 4th, July the 3rd. At our favorite craft beer bar. So I can tell some romantic stories about that later on. But first, we got to get through with the pleasantries and the introductions and the things. If you're in the chat room now, you say wee. If you're not in the chat room, there's not a damn thing I can do about that. I see that sexy hunk of man meat Lewis is in there. I see Jamel with a brand new name, Eastside Reviews. I see Quentin. I see Gills. I say Mashoon. Tomorrow's your birthday, Mashoon. Whee! You're not old. I'm old. But happy annual recognition of your existence to you. Yes. Who else is in there? Who else is in the chat room? I know you're going to say it. Come on. You know you want to. I'll give you some time to think about it. Yes. So, Friday was Deanna and I's 5th anniversary. And to give you kind of the story behind how we met, Daniel in the chat room going, wee! It was a Friday night. I was coming back from playing Friday Night Magic at my local comic book shop. And I hopped on the Facebooks and saw that an old high school friend of mine posted pictures of taking in the fireworks display that happened earlier that night just outside of my apartment complex. I sent a message to her saying, hey, it looks like you were near my apartment complex. And Deanna replied, well, yeah, I live here. And so I was like, hey, you want to go out for a beer? And so we went out, grabbed a beer over at Ultimate Ales, our favorite craft beer bar, which was the first time both of us had ever been there. But we met over there, had a beer. And it was the first, and I said, old high school friend. We were never boyfriend or girlfriend in high school, but we were definitely friends. And it was the first time that I had seen her since graduation. And so, yeah, there you go. That's how it all started between Deanna and myself. So there you go. So, yeah, anniversary, 4th of July, yada, yada, yada. Did I wear a mask? Well, not 5 years ago, no. But I did wear a mask when we went to Ultimate Ales that Friday and then sat outside and didn't have to have a mask. So we're okay. So, had to get that out of the way. On the show today, going over NXT and SmackDown, of course. Some stuff in the news that's mighty interesting. Lots of stuff. Definitely aftermath of hashtag speaking out is still going on. Also, how the WWE is coping with COVID-19 is in the news once again. And also how AEW is coping with COVID-19 is in the news as well. The WWE milk carton only went shorter because it's the first time ever that is all that could happen with the WWE milk carton. No new names. It could only have gotten smaller, and it did. We'll go ahead and I'll just say it right off the bat. From last Monday's episode of Monday Night Raw, Cedric Alexander and Ricochet off the milk carton. We hadn't seen them in nearly a month and a half since they had a tag team match against Shane Thorn and some guy with the last name of Vink on Monday Night Raw. And after that tag team match, nothing happened. So we have that. And I think someone else left the milk carton. I can't remember who. It was just one other person, but I can't remember who. Can't remember. That's okay. Now we'll take care of that later. But that's the milk carton. And finally, to end the show, is the Ages project that I've been working on. Earlier last week, I put up a poll on the Twitter asking all of you, when do you consider a professional wrestler to be in their prime? And the results of that poll I'll reveal when we get over to the bit. But in that time, I researched all of the ages of everyone who's on WWE's main roster, and their main roster is basically Raw, SmackDown, NXT, not 205 Live, not NXT UK, and not announcers or interviewers or anything like that. Talking about only WWE in-ring performers from Raw, NXT, and SmackDown. So we're talking about. And the numbers are pretty revealing, as well as some claims that I've made about in regards to ages and the shows themselves. It's kind of revealing. And so I really can't wait to show you guys what I found and everything. Yeah, so that's on the show. Sources. Bashoon always brings it up, always reminds me, what are the sources? Our sources here on Wrestleview, as many of you know, many professional wrestling news sites have their sources, and they're horrible. They are horrible sources where their sources are really just watered down. It's just their sources are what they would like the television show to be. And so our sources are double checked and triple checked, but my sources are the best sources of them all. They are heavy, they are flavorful, and always dependable and reliable. So since it was anniversary, I picked up something good from Ultimate Ales. Inside the Crowler of Courage, we will pour into the Chalice of Truth from New Holland Brewery. Some of you, if you're big beer drinkers and craft beer drinkers, New Holland is incredibly famous for their world-famous Dragon's Milk Stout. It is an incredibly flavorful coffee and chocolate stout. The ABV on it's like around 8. Maybe pushing 9, but is considered to be one of the best stouts to drink, is Dragon's Milk from New Holland. Well, instead, we are not having the regular Dragon's Milk. We are getting a fresh batch that I got of Dragon's Milk White from New Holland Brewery. Dragon's Milk White, and I've got the descriptor right here from them, from New Holland Brewery. A full-flavored white stout with strong notes of vanilla, cocoa, coffee roast, and oak. From its time in bourbon barrels, drinkers will expect a smooth, velvety mouthfeel that complements the flavor profile. A lighter stout drinking experience, it pours with a hazy golden hue into a pint glass for legendary enjoyment. This is a bourbon barrel-aged white stout. ABV on it is a sensible 6. So we pop the top off the Crowler of Courage, and we pour into the Chalice of Truth. Glad that it's still kept after 2 days. Oh, look at that. That's a good head on that guy. Yeah, a very good head on that guy. We seal back up that. Seal up that Crowler of Courage. Okay. So, Dragon's Milk White from New Holland Brewery. Oh, incredibly light for a stout. Well, because it's a white. That's why. Yes, I definitely taste the vanilla. Coffee is very light. Cocoa is very light. Actually, all of them are very light. There's not one dominating flavor in any of this. But, no, this is very, very good. Very dangerous too with how light this drinks for a stout. I am shocked. And normally I'm a very seasonal drinker. I would never drink a stout when it's 93 degrees outside, but I will take exceptions. I will make exceptions is what I mean to say. Yes, everybody cheers. Sorry, Jamel. Yeah, everyone. Yeah, cheers. Cheers, there you go. Whether you're indulging in an adult beverage or Kool-Aid, I don't care. Yeah, there you go. Next guy in the chat room going, wee! Indulging in our sources. Yeah, I really can't wait to talk with you guys about the Ages Project. This is gonna be fun. Mainly because it harkens me back to if many of you listened to me during the Wrestleview radio days, gosh, a good nearly 10 years ago, had my own podcast that was based off of my column for Wrestleview.com, 3R, Reality from Ringside Radio, where I was a very stats-heavy podcast. Every opinion, every claim that I would make, I've got the statistics and the evidence to back it up. And this project that I've done harkens me back to those days of spending nearly entire days researching for a podcast. So, yeah, got to harken back to those times. But until then, NXT. Let me just cue up let's just go into the scene. Here's Io Shirai and the Asuka, everyone's now favorite waifus. It's because the other waifu, Kairi Sane, is not on TV. Here they are celebrating a victory by Io Shirai when she defeated Sasha Banks on the show. I want to talk about NXT a little bit. The women's wrestling in particular. Let's just go ahead and start this off. We start off the show with a Fatal 4-Way elimination match. Tegan Knox versus Dakota Kai versus Mia Hamm versus Candace Lorraine. If some of you saw me on the Twitter, I couldn't tell the difference between all four of their entrance themes. And thank God all four of them had different hair colors, because there's no way in hell I could have told any of them apart except Mia Hamm, and I'm not going to state the obvious on why. Yeah. Women's wrestling right now, to me, in NXT, reminds me a lot of trying to watch a 1080p YouTube video on a 56.6K modem. Buffering, stuttering, it just doesn't, their matches don't flow. They are constantly planting feet, setting up spots. It is so, you can predict what's going to be happening. And I just was not feeling this match at all. Candace LeRae was eliminated by Mia Hamm, and Tegan Knox would stand there behind her looking shocked the entire time when she wouldn't just be going after a pin of some kind. Mia Hamm is going to do things to Tegan Knox afterwards. Yeah. And that's the thing. It was spots like that seemed so contrived, you know? Yeah. I just was not feeling it. Mia Hamm would be eliminated by Dakota Kai later on in that. But your winner, being the number one contender for the NXT Women's Championship, is Tegan Knox. I was seeing all over the Twitter that everyone just loved her facial expressions, where I'm going to be honest, it's not as much the facial expressions that I was noticing of Tegan Knox. It was her standing around and doing nothing and carrying a shocked expression for longer than 25 to 30 seconds when it really wasn't warranted. Sorry. It's just me. No. So, just as is tradition with NXT, we are going to have a title match involving two people where we have no idea who the face or the heel is, and it doesn't matter because NXT does not have faces or heels. Who are we supposed to cheer for in this thing? Tegan or Io? I would think you would cheer for Io, but Tegan Knox is she's the face. She was the face. I don't get it. Jamel saying Tegan is the most looks like another chick among the bunch. Yeah, she is. I cannot tell the difference between any of them in there except Mia Hamm. Timothy Thatcher versus Oni Lorcan. Finally, we don't have any more monologues from Timothy Thatcher involving training is shoot style wrestling, is catch style wrestling, or anything like that. Mediocre Lewis in the chat room going, wee! First off, Timothy Thatcher and Oney Lorcan, their match was very interesting. Was very interesting to say the least. However, Timothy Thatcher matches are a completely different breed, and I think a little more difficult to digest. Because it's a lot of holding, there's no slams, there's no... You've got to pay attention to what's going on in the match, and when I mean pay attention, I mean how they're holding each other, which already sounds completely subconsciously homoerotic. But the problem is, Timothy Thatcher can only have Timothy Thatcher style matches against people that are Timothy Thatcher style. For example, Oney Lorcan, Danny Burch, Drew Gulak, Daniel Bryan, Matt Riddle, go on down the line of those that would fit that category. Timothy Thatcher versus Keith Lee, not so much. Timothy Thatcher versus Tomato Chomper, not really. Timothy Thatcher versus, I don't know, name some others. Cameron Grimes, Damian Priest, Killian Dane. Ugh. So and Mashoon's right in the chat room. Timothy Thatcher matches are very slow, methodical pace, but we are not talking Undertaker pace, okay? We're talking, and I think Jamel's reading my mind here. Mex guy even bringing up Roderick Strong. Roderick Strong, yeah. Maybe a Kyle O'Reilly might be able to fly with him, but I am not looking forward to a Timothy Thatcher Keith Lee program anytime soon. Here's my other thing is, and Jamel reading my mind, he is now to me the new Randy Orton. You know how Randy Orton loves to do Randy Orton things because only Randy Orton is the only one who can do Randy Orton things. If you demand Randy Orton things, call your purveyor of Randy Orton things Randy Orton, because only Randy Orton can do Randy Orton things. Timothy Thatcher does Timothy Thatcher things, and only Timothy Thatcher can do Timothy Thatcher things. If you want Timothy Thatcher things, you call on the purveyor of Timothy Thatcher things, Timothy Thatcher, because Timothy Thatcher knows Timothy Thatcher things, and no one else knows Timothy Thatcher things more than Timothy Thatcher. So, that's what I'm gathering, is what Timothy Thatcher is. Do I have to pronounce Timothy all the way? Can I just call him Timmy? I think I'll just call him Timmy. Initiator in the chat room going, wee! Yeah, but don't get me wrong. I appreciate the Timothy Thatcher Oney Lorcan match. I enjoyed it, okay? But it leaves me questioning why we're doing this. Mediocre Lewis asking if I'm going to be talking AEW. I am not going to talk AEW for a little bit. Actually, I may talk about AEW next week. Actually, well, no, next week we aren't talking AEW things because we're going to be recapping SmackDown, because the next episode of Wrestleview Weekly is this Friday, where we're going to be predicting the Extreme Rules pay-per-view. Sometime soon, yes, I will cover AEW. I've been meaning to go back to watch some Orange Cassidy. Best Friends, okay, yes, I'm going to go ahead and bring it up because we're still talking NXT, but I get it off my mind. I did watch AEW from last Wednesday. Best Friends being dropped off by Trent Beretta's mom in a minivan was the greatest thing to happen in the past month for professional wrestling. That was just fantastic. Fantastic. Loved it, loved it, loved it. And Taz delivering a little quote-unquote shoot promo on COVID-19 and how WWE treats it and how AEW treats it and how that is in relation to Johnny Moxley not being there to defend his title against the cage of Bryan. That stuff happened too. Normally, I would have brought up that promo about Taz and thought it would be really neat to talk about, but there's some news regarding AEW and COVID-19 after that show that I would definitely like to talk about. So, it went from a ha-ha, gotcha moment to a ruh-roh moment. So, yeah, we're not going to talk about that much. Rhea Ripley facing off against Aaliyah and Robert Stone in a 2-on-1 handicap match. This is the fun stuff. This was the fun stuff. I am all for this. Okay? I love me Robert Stone. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care how pointless you may think he is. I don't care. I think he is fun. CJ Bowman in the chat room going, wee! I didn't like that wee. I got to do that wee! There we go. I didn't get the taper off. Don't know how that happened. I'm not going to do that again. That sounded like an alarm. Robert Stone and Aaliyah versus Rhea Ripley. I like this match. I don't care what anybody says. I need more Robert Stone like that in my life. Getting beat up by a woman. I need more of that. I need him jumping around, flipping around, thinking he's hot shit, and getting beat up by a woman. I need more of this in my life. Don't care. Okay? It's a great act. And you got to end it with, yes. And of course he's got to get the nut shot. Of course he's got to get his balls hit. Of course he does. Of course he does. Brings a tear to my eye. Bork says it better. But yeah, you got to have that. Got to have that. Oh, by the way, the NXT show is a 2-night affair, what they're calling the Great American Bash. Why? I don't know. Nafisa in the chat room going, wee! Your winner of this contest would be Rhea Ripley after she would submit both Robert Stone and Aaliyah in a cloverleaf type thing, which looks way better than any of the 472 times that Natalya did a double sharpshooter on 2 women. Okay? Way better. That looks way better than anything Natalya has ever done when it comes to trying to show off strength or anything like that. Mike Tedesco, the effervescent one, would say in the tweet, they made Rhea Ripley look super strong in this match. That's correct. I don't get the point of Robert Stone after this. I don't get the point of him before this. That story was never properly fleshed out. Ripley looks great and needed to get some steam back. Maybe this will do it. Totally agree with trying to get steam back on Rhea Ripley's side, but the point of Robert Stone was just that, to get beat up. That was the point, was that. Robert Stone, not all characters are supposed to be super strong, you know. Not chastising Mike at all. Just saying that, you know, sometimes characters are supposed to be a failure. Sometimes your performers are supposed to be Barry Horowitz or Iron Mike Sharp. We've had them throughout the ages of the WWE. And it's just a coinkydink that Robert Stone actually gets to have a backstory and a character affiliated with the failure. You don't usually get that. But, hey, I love it. I love it that he loses. Yeah. I love it. Strap match between Roderick Strong and Dexter Loomis. Purpose of this match was because Roderick Strong kept running away from Dexter Loomis. And so we're going to hook him up to a big long strap, and the two of them are going to have a fight involving a leather strap. I totally understand having the strap match. Totally get it. Here's Roderick Strong doing a superplex on Dexter Loomis for your viewing entertainment. That will never repeat. And I don't know why. Don't know why it's not doing that. But there you go. I'm not one to say that I've seen better strap matches because I can't really dive deep into my mental database of strap matches. Okay? Something tells me the reason they had this strap match was not just to, augment the storyline that Roderick Strong is afraid of Dexter Loomis and will always run away from him, but also to the fact that this is the Great American Bash, and there's a tradition that there's a strap match of some kind involving Dusty Rhodes or something. I'm sure there is. Okay? The problem is the guys need to know how to work that strap match, and the problem also is that strap matches are really made for two people involved in the match that absolutely despise each other. They absolutely hate each other. Hate each other so much that when they get that strap and they wind it up, they want to smack the crap out of each other with it. I mean, it is a brutal, aggressive, barbaric match. And this was not so much. Against two guys where one was just afraid of the other, and there was no hatred involved. Don't even know what the heck Dexter Loomis is thinking, and that's okay. But it did not involve hatred in any way. Which, then that's the point of the strap match. Jamel bringing up Triple H versus The Rock at Fully Loaded 99. Yeah. I believe Eddie Guerrero and JBL had a strap match, or was it John Cena and JBL? I think Eddie Guerrero and JBL had a strap match. Some kind. CJ bringing up Cena and Rusev. Yeah, that was a Russian chain match. Yeah, Eddie JBL is the one that I'm thinking of. Lesnar Taker? I don't know. Texas Bull Rope match. That's the one. Yeah, the Eddie Guerrero JBL Bull Rope match is the one I'm thinking of. But we have had shoehorn strap matches before. Ask JBL and Shad Gaspard. Would you believe they had one? And it was their only first contest together against each other ever. It was not good. It was not good at all. I think it lasted only 8 minutes. So yeah, I don't know what it is about the WWE that just can't do a good strap match. And yes, it was Texas Bull Rope, but I mean strap. I mean, Savio Vega, Steve Austin. Yeah, that was pretty good. But there's just something about that strap and the crack that it makes when it's smacked on someone's back. That's why you have it, to view that hatred and that vehemence. That was not in this. This was more like trolling. That's what this was. Your winner of the match would be Dexter. Backstage, Johnny Gargano and Candace LeRae are about to do an interview. LeRae runs away, beats up Mia Hamm. Gargano goes over there, and somehow Isaiah Swerve Scott is there. Why? I don't know. But I just remembered. Swerve Scott? What the hell is he doing back there? Isaiah Swerve Scott off the milk carton. We haven't seen Isaiah Swerve Scott on NXT since the Little Critter Interim Championship tournament thingy, where he was last in a match that had absolutely no consequence whatsoever. So, yeah. So now we're going to get Johnny Gargano and Candace LeRae versus Mia Hamm and Isaiah Swerve Scott for no reason whatsoever. That sounds great. Santos Escobar with his Joaquin Wilde and Raul Mendoza. They have now called themselves El Legado del Fantasma. That is the name of the mafia group now. They are called El Legado del Fantasma. Initiator asking me if they're not belts, aren't they all strap matches? Santos Escobar is in the ring. And he's talking smack again. And again, out comes Drake Maverick. He's wearing a neck brace, rips it off, goes in there to get his butt kicked. But this time to come out to make the save is Fandango and Tyler Breeze making the save. So now we're inevitably going to get a six-man tag involving Breezango and Drake Maverick versus El Legado del Fantasma. I love this look, this gimmick, this everything. El Legado del Fantasma. This is Lucha House Party without the Ritalin and candy. I love this, okay? But that's usually the deal, It's usually the heels are the best because they have the characters and everything. When it comes to the baby faces, you're only concerned about their mores and their ethics and how they battle to defend those mores and ethics. Heels always have the character. They always have the character that you love to hate or just are just enamored by. This is fantastic. El Legado del Fantasma. I just like how that sounds. You know? I don't know. It sure as hell doesn't sound like a Mexican restaurant. It really sounds like something that I would see in a comic book. El Legado del Fantasma versus the Avengers. Wolverine faces off against El Legado del Fantasma. Something like that. No, it's great. That's great. Jamel saying it's their best answer to Best Friends and Orange Cassidy, being Drake Maverick and Fandango, maybe. I don't know. You know, I try not to think that federations are trying to answer to each other, but no, I try not to think that, you know. Right now, I think the WWE is definitely looking for more comedy acts, and that being Akira Tozawa is one. We did have a faction called Legacy at one point, and that is Legado. El Legacy of Fantasma. El Legado del Fantasma. No, you're right. Initiator saying it sounds like an opera, or maybe a magic trick. It does sound like an opera. Now, one night only at the Belmont. El Legado del Fantasma. Yes, that's kind of what it kind of sounds like. Cameron Grimes is backstage laughing about something. He's laughing about Damian Priest. He's calling out saying that he wants to be the number one contender of whoever wins between Adam Cole and Keith Lee. Okay, sure, whatever. Yes, we are getting the 6-man tag next week. The Teddy Long special. We have more Teddy Long specials to talk about here later on. And your main event, Sasha Banks with Karen in tow. She is the SmackDown Women's Champion versus the NXT Women's Champion, Io Shirai. Don't have anything really to show about this other than Asuka would come out to even the tides, and Io Shirai would emerge victorious. And everyone's happy because the waifus are on the to close out the show. So there you go. That's all I got to say about that. Doug, why don't you talk about the consistency of the matches and tell us how the tempo is and if they did a good job? No, I'm not going to, because no. Yeah, it's I don't. Once again, NXT Women's Wrestling is really difficult to watch right now, in my opinion. I really think it is. So, it's just me. What did everyone think of NXT? 80.6% gave it a thumbs up. It can't be because their favorite waifus won. It can't be because their favorite waifus won. What did everyone think? Who did everyone think won Wednesday night? Apparently, everyone thinks that NXT won the Wednesday night war. I didn't know there was still a war, that is. People were not happy that Asuka spit in Sasha's face. Probably because they couldn't identify with it. I don't know, because they imagine stuff going in Sasha's face, and they don't imagine it being green, so they don't identify with that. Yes, that was disgusting to say, but it's true. That's what people think. I'm just stating fact, okay? Everyone's angry that their waifus got destroyed. Now they're happy their waifus are on television, but they cannot identify with them. Yeah. That's what's happening. Yeah. Waifus. Everyone is obsessed with waifus. Is what it is. All right, enough of this tomfoolery. Enough of this tomfoolery. SmackDown. If everyone did not get a little chubby from their waifus being on NXT, they got a big chubby from Matt Riddle versus John Morrison, huh? The one thing I love about when Roy does recaps for SmackDown for us here at Wrestleview is that he does not provide any tweets or GIFs showing all the tremendous action that happens on SmackDown. I'm sure it's incredibly difficult to describe, and so you want to use the resources that are given to you to help the person reading feel like they're there to watch the show. On top of prepositional and grammatic errors. But that's our Roy. Matt Riddle is doing an interview with the Michael Cole, and Karen Borbin comes out, interrupts him. Why? I don't know. Then he wants to have a match with Baron Corbin. Corbin goes, nope, you're fighting this guy. And out comes The Miz and John Morrison. John Morrison is getting in the ring with Matt Riddle. So The Miz is at ringside for the John Morrison. Baron Corbin is at ringside on the commentary. I cannot describe adequately the stuff that was happening in this match. Only because, well, here, I'm going to try. Here we go. A loud forearm by Morrison onto Riddle, but Riddle goes for an armbar, and that's reversed by Morrison as he slams Riddle down. Riddle gets up and a gut-wrench suplex onto Morrison, but Morrison holds on to Riddle and slams Riddle down. No offense to Roy, but Morrison goes for a kick, but Riddle blocks it and grabs Morrison's ankle as he gets the ankle lock in, but Morrison gets out of it. Riddle goes for a German suplex, but Morrison lands on his feet. Morrison jumps off the second rope and hits Riddle in the back of the head. The big thing that, the spot that I remember seeing the most from this match was Morrison kind of pirouetting around like he was going to do a Trouble in Paradise, and Riddle goes up to block high, but instead Morrison sweeps low. Then Morrison kind of rolls over a hunched over, a doubled over Matt Riddle, rolls over on top of his back, grabbing his back, and then deadlifting him to a gut wrench, and then bringing him up overhead in a crucifix position of some kind, held him there for Lord knows how long, and then put him in another position, and then it turned into a backdrop of some kind. It was an insane spot that was completely pointless. I don't know. I guess I'll have to try to find the GIFs, I guess. Hopefully I won't get any boobs, because my Twitter's been full of boobs. Yeah, see, there's Sable. I just said boobs. See if we can just go to the WWE on Fox thing here. Because, yeah, there were a lot of interesting spots during this. Actually, let's go to the TDEs. They should have some gifts there. Let's go to the TDEs. First off, they constantly show these Japanese women's matches in front of the same set. And I find it really annoying. Yep, let's go through all the Japanese women's wrestling. Look, Japanese Power speaking out. Women's wrestling. Nope, they're a bunch of waifus. Get your dick back in your shorts. All right. Yeah, stop it. Seriously, stop it. Looks like we got some New Japan. There we go. Yep, there's some more New Japan. Yeah, stuff was happening with New Japan, I guess. I guess I should pay attention to that sometime. I really want to watch some New Japan on the Twitch sometime. There's the AE dubs. There's the AE dubs. Do we have any SmackDown? I don't think we do. All right. Yes, professionalism. We are professionalism is what we are. All right, let's go back through this here. Here we go. There we go. Okay. Here we go. Yes, 4th of July. Yes, 4th of July. That's very, very nice. There we go. Okay. Okay, there's the Sasha Banks and the thing. There's the AJ Styles. Okay, there's the Matt Riddle. Excuse me. Don't know if I'm gonna really get. No, it looks like I'm not gonna get a GIF. Well, it's on the WWE on Fox one, so yeah. I'm sorry, but I demand GIFs. I say, oh, hi, how are you? I demand GIFs. I demand animations of the stuff that I'm talking about. Just stop. Okay, I'll just stop. I give up. Yeah, the Matt Riddle John Morrison match is a clusterfuck and a half to check out. Incredibly contrived. Just gonna put it that way. Professionalism is why you come here, Jamel. I'm so sorry. You're at the wrong place. But Roy said not a bad match at all involving Morrison and Riddell, a very physical match, and Riddell was made to look like $1 million. Was he? I just can't get behind the whole bro thing. It was great in 03 when it fit Rob Van Dam's persona, and that's about it. Yes, John Morrison hit Starship Pain as is tradition. Yeah, that's all that matters. That's right, CJ. Intercontinental title match, AJ Styles versus Drew Gulak. AJ Styles would win this handily. Not handily, I mean it went a commercial break, but it's AJ Styles. He hit the Styles Clash into the phenomenal forearm, and there you go. Was it AJ Styles versus Daniel Bryan great? Maybe. Close to it. But again, I can't really show you that. Can I? Karen and Sasha Banks are in the ring talking stuff, and then out comes Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. They say words, and as always, whenever something like that, we would have a tag team match, but instead we're having Alexa Bliss with Nikki Cross in tow versus Karen with Sasha Banks in tow. Your winner of this match via the disqualification, because people get in the way, is the Karen. And so what does that lead up to? What do you think's going to happen next week?
Now, if all four of you want to mix it up, then we going to do it right. I'm going to make this a tag team match.
Yep, pretty much. Yeah, you're going to get Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross versus Sasha Banks and Karen again. Probably going to be non-title. But that's what's going to happen. Holla, holla, holla. Kofi Kingston with Big E in tow, squaring off against Shinsuke Nakamura with Cesaro in tow. Before we had this match, we had a very long 3-minute clip show involving Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman, where they're going to have their Wyatt Swamp match. Okay. Kofi Kingston with Big E in tow versus Shinsuke Knock with Cesaro in tow. Your winner of this match would be Shinsuke Nakamura. There would be lots of chicanery happening along the outside and everything. Cesaro would get back in the ring, celebrate with Nakamura. They're on the outside. They're about to grab a table from under the ring, but Big E cleans house before Nakamura and Cesaro leave the ring. Which is then again going to lead us to a tag team title match. Teddy, what you know the drill.
Now, if all four of you want to mix it up, then we going to do it right. I'm going to make this a tag team match.
I'm sure you are. Big E and Kofi Kingston are going to defend the SmackDown tag team titles against Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura on this Friday's SmackDown. So there you go. None of them are going against The Undertaker, thank God. Finally, a segment that we could all wince at. Sheamus having a toast to Jeff Hardy. Sheamus is on the Titantron at a homemade bar. Jeff Hardy is in the ring with a full spread bar and a bartender apparently there calling for a toast. Jeff Hardy just pours water on a guy and beats him up. And that's how we end the show. What did everyone think of SmackDown? 63.5% gave SmackDown a thumbs up, and that is par for the course. SmackDown always gets a positive rating because nobody watches SmackDown. I was not at all jealous of the full spread that was in the ring for Jeff Hardy, because I could tell a lot of it was just dyed water. Clear, just non-labeled bottles with different colors of liquid just doesn't mean to me that it's all alcohol, okay? Wow, there were a lot of bright blue liquids. I did not know that Barbasol came in so many colors. Was it Barbasol? No, it's Barbicide. No, what is it? What is that? Well, it's maybe formaldehyde. Barbasol is a shaving cream. I don't know. There's a lot of liquids in there that I was not gathering was alcohol at all. Yeah, barbicide. Yeah, CJ, it's barbicide. Yeah. Not digging it. Okay. From someone who knows their sources. Don't try to toy with my emotions. Okay. Especially, I'd sure as hell never want to have a drink with Jeff. Actually, I take that back. I would want to have a drink with Jeff, but I'd call an Uber for him. That's for damn sure. CJ Big E as Universal Champion. Stop it. Stop. Stop it right now. I see one comment. I'm scrolling down. Thank you. I'm not the only one who thinks Riddle's interviews are a ripoff of Rob Van Dam. Okay. All right. So that's that. Let me finish off my Crowler of Courage. How's that for a picture to use for the thumbnail for this show, Mikey? Yeah. Good stuff. All right. On to talk about the news. Talk about the news. Let's get away from these shenanigans. A legendary trainer passed away. Lots of COVID news. More fallout from hashtag speaking out, and yeah, more of the things that make you educated. I think it was back on Tuesday. Yes, June the 30th, saw the passing of Killer Tim Brooks, passing away at the age of 72, failing his battle with cancer. During the 1970s and 80s, Brooks wrestled for NWA, Pacific Northwest Wrestling, the WWC, WCCW, and the Southwest Championship Wrestling. Got his start in 69, joining his cousin Dick Murdoch in the Detroit, Michigan, and Toronto territories. Worked as a mid-card heel, being managed by Skandar Akbar, Armand Hussein, and Gary Hart. 83, he was part of a storyline in NWA Heavyweight Championship to Larry Zbyszko after getting defeated by Paul Orndorff. As part of the angle, Zbyszko was stripped of the championship belt that he had not legitimately won. Tim Brooks left Georgia, then went to Southwest Championship Wrestling in San Antonio. During his time there, he held the heavyweight title on 2 separate occasions. Then he left in 85 to go to the WWC in Puerto Rico. That is the Cologne's WWC. In 86, he would make appearances in Montreal territories under an in-ring gimmick of Buster Brody, lampooning Bruiser Brody. In 1990, he would start he would go to NAWA Pro Wrestling School in Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas as a trainer. Brooks retired in 1997 and was the owner and head trainer for the North American Wrestling Allegiance Pro Wrestling School, which was the training facility for NAWA Pro Wrestling. And he's credited most for training the current NXT North American champion, Keith Lee. Keith Lee would send out a tweet offering his condolences to the Brooks family. Yeah. Pure basic pro wrestling is what Tim Brooks is. Period. All right, let's talk spiky Nerf ball here. As per report from Friday. Yeah, reported from Friday. WWE is now instituting an official face mask policy with non-compliance fines included. According to PW Insider and confirmed by F4Dub Online, the policy states that any roster member or staff member working at any TV tapings must wear a protective face mask at all times unless they are performing on camera. Unless they're performing on camera. Those not wearing masks will be fined $500 for the first offense, $1,000 for the second offense. WWE recently experienced a number of talent and staff contract the spiky Nerf ball, including Kayla Braxton.
Hey, Kayla!
Jamie Noble, Adam Pearce, and Renee Young. The WWE would issue a statement saying the WWE will continue COVID-19 testing of its talent, production crew, and employees in advance of TV productions for the foreseeable future. No shit. And once again, Kayla contracted the spiky Nerf ball, so it's going to be a while until we hear this.
Hey, Kayla!
I love that sound. God, Billy Kay is just it's like angels. It's just like one angel with just the most harmonic, decadent voice.
Hey, Kayla!
But because of this COVID testing and everything that's going around it, and she had to go, God damn, I hated that. WWE has reportedly issued their TV taping schedule up until SummerSlam. So here is our TV schedule going into August. All right, here we go. So, all right. On Wednesday, July 15th, they'll be taping NXT for that night and the next week for the 22nd. Three Fridays from now, on the 17th, they'll do SmackDown and 205 Live for that night. Sunday the 19th, they tape WWE Extreme Rules. I thought Extreme Rules was on the 11th. No, or the 12th. When is WWE Extreme Rules? It is July 19th. Huh. So that means that next week is going to be a regular show of Wrestleview Weekly. I take all of that back. It's going to be a regular episode of Wrestleview Weekly next Sunday at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So there you go. Yes, Billy Kay does have a harmonic voice, and don't you tell me otherwise.
You're going to be joking me!
I know. Her voice descends from the heavens.
I just studied that question. Hey, you go to journalism for that?
God, yes, I do. July 19th on Sunday is Extreme Rules. Monday the 20th following that, Raw and main event for that night and the 27th. Tuesday the 21st, SmackDown Live for July 24th. And on my birthday, July the 31st. Wednesday the 29th is NXT for that night and the following Wednesday on the August the 5th. Monday, August the 3rd, Raw and main event for that night and August the 10th. Tuesday, August the 4th, they tape SmackDown for August the 7th and 14th. Saturday, August the 22nd is NXT TakeOver, and then the 23rd, SummerSlam. There is no way in hell we're going to be in a live crowd by then. I don't see us being in a live crowd for the rest of the year. I don't see us being back to live crowds until well after 2021. Well into 2021. AEW reportedly allows fans not tested for COVID-19 into their arena in Jacksonville, Daly's Place. So all that talk about them, how they always test people before they come in. Well, according to a report by Ryan Satin of the Pro Wrestling Sheet, AEW allowed fans to attend last Wednesday's taping of Dynamite that were not tested. Fans that attended received a private invite to attend the taping. About 60 of them were non-crew members. To enter Daly's Palace, they were required to wear masks even as they walked through the outside gates. They had to sign waivers acknowledging that they had not been exposed to COVID-19, but they were not tested for the virus like the talent and crew were. Only their temperatures were taken. Sources interviewed for the report said that people invited were family and friends of local Daly's Place and Jaguar sponsors. It doesn't matter who the hell they are or who they're affiliated with. They were seated in the upper bowl and not tested because there is no chance of passing the virus to talent and crew from that distance, but you've got to leave somehow. Anyone seated in the lower bowl were tested for COVID-19. It doesn't matter. Everyone needs to be tested. What do you think? The people in the upper bowl that are the sponsors and everyone affiliated with that arena or with the Jaguars are not going to try to interact with people? Come on. AEW continues to adhere to the guidelines laid out by the CDC and have spaced people out beyond their guidelines so that the tested people won't be affected by those not tested. But they're going to see each other at some point. What are you going to do? Are you going to barricade them once the show is over? You can't help that. I've had a lot of discussions with people regarding spiking Nerf ball. And there's been a tremendous uptick in many states here in the U.S. Not going to name them because there's too many of them. But one of them being my state of North Carolina. We're rolling back reopenings now. We're staying in this quote-unquote phase 2 thing. People right here in the state, they're kind of getting angry that our governor isn't opening up bars and gyms. And to that I say, if you need to work out, go outside and lift a tree. Don't need a gym that badly. You want the bars open? Make your own damn bar. ABC's, the liquor stores are open. Create your own and invite your friends. Here's the thing. There's only one way that we're going to get rid of this virus. It's not from the vaccine. It's not from any kind of medicine. That discovery is not going to be happening for another 1.5 to 2 years. How do you get rid of it? It's time to lay the hammer down. First off, testing. We need instantaneous testing. You need a test that is going to be the result determined within 15 minutes after taking it with an accuracy of at least 95%. That instantaneous test needs to be administered to everybody. Mandatory forced testing. Enough of this voluntary shit. Mandatory forced testing. Go to everyone. Doug, how are you going to do that? God, that's going to take so many personnel. How are you going to get the people to do that? The military. National Guard. You've got the military. You get them. Go out and you test everybody. You go to everyone's homes and you test them. Everyone who tests positive, there's a paddy wagon waiting for you. You're chucked inside it, and then you're sent to either a hotel or a cabin of some kind, and you are isolated for 3 weeks to a month. No ifs, ands, or buts. You're positive, your ass is gone. You are going somewhere to get quarantined, and you wait it out. We are beyond wear your goddamn mask now. And I say this because when Deanna and I went out for our anniversary, we did our grocery shopping, and then we went out for lunch, and then we went to another place to do a little bit more grocery shopping, and so we go grocery shopping. The store says it's mandatory to wear a mask to come inside. We still saw people not wearing a mask in there. Doesn't matter how long you're going to be in the store, you still wear a goddamn mask. Later on that day, we went to a restaurant around Lake Norman here in North Carolina. And, you know, we wear our masks, go into the restaurant, and then when we're seated, we take them off. That's usually how it is. And the entire staff, we expect the staff to wear masks. All the hostesses were wearing masks and everything, and so we get to our seated. Our waiter, who had to have been 19, 20 years old, was not wearing a mask. The waiter station is behind my girlfriend's head, and every server behind her is not wearing a mask. We were close to just upright leaving, but we were so damn hungry we couldn't. So hopefully we didn't get spiky Nerf ball because we were really, really hungry. This was the kicker. After that, we went for a second grocery run to Whole Foods. Of all of the places that you can think of where everyone is unanimous in wearing a mask and doing their part for to fight spiky Nerf ball. Later, CJ. You would think Whole Foods grocery store owned by Amazon would be adamant on this. We went into the store. They've got their little they got their stickers all down the aisles and everything to coordinate where the traffic is flowing. You know, they got stop signs down there to tell people to stop. Don't go this way. No, everyone's just going willy-nilly. Mandatory face masks to come in? Nope. At least a quarter to a little under half of the people in that store were not wearing face masks. Ladies and gentlemen, we cannot be trusted to get this shit under control. We cannot be trusted. I believe this should be a stay-at-home order for the entire nation. Everything shut down. Even grocery stores, everything shut down. Everyone stay at home. Everything shut down. Doug, how are we going to get food? The military. The military is how you're going to get your food. You're going to get rations. There you go. I got no faith in this country at all right now. None whatsoever. None. After working 20 years in retail, my soul is destroyed. And after seeing it during the past 2 days on my anniversary with the one I love, yeah, it's gone. It's done, okay? I got no problem if I'm going to be shut in. I don't care. But we could get into politics and stuff like that later. But I just had to vent for a little bit, okay? This nation cannot be trusted. We need mandatory forced testing, and those that are positive get chucked into a building. No one can be trusted. Apparently, Karl Anderson and Luke Gallows are headed to Impact TNA. According to multiple sources, Gallows and Anderson are heading to Impact Wrestling, or TNA, with a deal that will allow them to also work dates for New Japan when traveling opens up again, which won't be for another year and a half. It is not known if they have officially signed those deals yet or how long those deals are for. Gallows and Anderson were released back in April during the whole spring cleaning that happened. So, Mediocre James saying that Gallows and Anderson should have gone to AEW. A lot of people should have gone to AEW. No, they want a lighter workload. And AEW is not working with New Japan, and that's where they want to work. That's where they know their money is going to be. Last week, there was word that there was going to be some kind of major announcement from the WWE involving NXT UK. Rumors went rampant. What is this going to be about? Is the NXT UK going to be canceled? Are they going to be rescheduling programs? Oh my God, what's it going to be? Nope. All that it was people were let go due to the fallout of hashtag speaking out. Conference call was led by Paul Levesque. Levesque explicitly laid out WWE's policy and protocol regarding sexual abuse allegations, was iterated that the company has zero tolerance on any charges, provided that there was irrefutable evidence. There was no talk regarding any other changes to the NXT UK brand. The brand will tape TV when it is feasible to do so again in the area. Mediocre Lewis, I'm sorry. Regarding follow-ups to the hashtag speaking out movement, Joe Coffey was suspended by the company, according to F4Dub Online. Coffey had been accused of sexual harassment, sending unwanted photos, and stalking. WWE also fired NXT UK referees Chris Roberts and Joel Allen, according to PW Insider, due to allegations made. This follows in tow with the releases last week of Jack Gallagher, Ligero, and Travis Banks. Yeah. Apparently, last Friday, Bubba Bully Ray decided that he is done with Ring of Honor and that no new contract was going to be offered. According to multiple sources, Bully Ray, or Bubba Ray Dudley, is no longer under contract with Ring of Honor and that the company is not offering him a new contract due to the spiky Nerf ball. It is also being said that Bully Ray is technically free to negotiate with other wrestling promotions. The word is that Ring of Honor will offer new contracts to when they start running their shows again. Who knows when that's going to be? However, it's unknown when. Yeah, I just said that. Bubba Ray's last appearance for Ring of Honor was last February when he lost to Caprice Coleman. We have an update yesterday to Bubba Ray's status with Ring of Honor. According to the report, he was finished with Ring of Honor as of April the 1st. His exit from the company had been agreed upon and planned by both sides, the original plan being that Bubba was going to stay until the Super Card of Honor event, which was going to take place over WrestleMania 36 weekend in Florida to finish out his storyline with some chick, Maria Manic. The event was canceled due to spiky Nerf ball. It's also being said that there is no heat between Bubba Ray and Ring of Honor, so there you go. No drama. Sorry. No drama. What do I see Bubba Ray doing? I see him potentially returning to the WWE. Not as a performer. Not as a performer. Behind the scenes. A producer of some kind. Yeah. That's what I see. That or I see him actually being a talent for some of their shows that are on the WWE network. He would be fantastic on The Bump, show they have every Wednesday on the network. I think he would be fabulous as a regular on that show. The WWE filed a late renewal of trademarking the Cody Rhodes name last week. After allowing the trademark on the name Cody Rhodes to lapse on April the 13th, the WWE filed a late renewal on it. Cody filed to trademark the name the day the trademark expired, but the WWE filed for a late renewal on May the 15th, citing delays to filing and payment due to spiky Nerf ball. Cody will now have 6 months, starting last week, to respond to the likelihood of confusion letter sent by the patent office, or else his trademark is going to be abandoned. The WWE also abandoned the trademark to the term The Man. They filed for the term in December of 2019, but Ric Flair had already filed it the August prior. So Flair, who recently signed a new deal with the company, reportedly agreed to sell the trademark to the WWE this past May. So, Ric Flair beating the WWE to the punch and making himself a pretty fucking penny. Speaking of other pretty fucking pennies, well, it might be a shabby one. It might be a little corroded. Friday report. The WWE may have finalized a deal to acquire Evolve Wrestling and other tape libraries, according to PW Insider. According to the report, WWE completed the purchase from Gabe Sapolsky and Sal Hamawi after negotiating with them for several months. It is not known what the financials were on the deal. Hamawi also owns World Wrestling Network, an online streaming service showcasing independent wrestling. This was not included in the deal and will continue to be operational. It is also not clear what the future holds for Gabe Sapolsky, but he has been a consultant of the WWE for the past 2 years. And he will continue to be so. He's going to be hired soon. It is not known if the WWE will continue to run Evolve shows or if they will simply be adding to their network content. It is believed the WWE owns the tape libraries for Evolve and Dragon Gate USA. Early full Impact Pro footage is thought to be included with that, but all content included in the deal will reportedly be removed in 1 month from the World Wrestling Network under Hamawi's tenure. Yes. No shock. No shock at all. So, everyone be sad that, yes, Evolve is now going to be bought by the WWE, and there's no such thing as independent wrestling anymore. Kathy Laurinaitis, mother of Nikki and Brie Bella, underwent brain surgery last Tuesday. Here's the tweet. On the season finale of Total Bellas, Kathy revealed that she was having a bout of Bell's palsy, which was paralyzing one side of her face. The paralysis wound up being caused by a mass on her brainstem, resulting in surgery. So there she is. Yep. There she is. We received an update from Mama Bella's surgery on July the 1st. Reported underwent brain surgery that day. Nothing that it after the procedure. Let me see. Do we have Nikki here? Yeah, we got her.
Hey everyone, so I know you probably already saw on Brie's IG story that my mom had a very, very successful surgery. Took a lot longer than expected, but it's because the doctors really wanted to make sure that everything was taken out, because if we didn't catch this, it actually could have been fatal. So grateful to God and her angels that we ended up finding this, that we had amazing surgeons, and that she had a very successful surgery. So now my mom is on the road to recovery. Thank you all so much for your prayers, your love, sending light. It truly helped our Gigi and Gato today. And just thank you all so much. You all are our rocks, and we are grateful for all of you, Bella Army. We love you.
Cool. Sounds good to me. Yeah. So there you go. Finally, more good news for this week, because I always try to end it on good news. Renee Young is apparently releasing a cookbook. This was announced on her Instagram. When was this done? I think it was last Wednesday, on July the 1st. Here she is on the Instagram.
All right, guys, today is finally the day. It is July 1st. I have been teasing online that I have a big, fat, fancy announcement to make. And what July 1st was for me was the date that I had to hand in my manuscript, because I wrote a cookbook. I did it. I've been manifesting this for literally years. I've been talking about this for years. I've been eating for a very long time, but I did it. I'm super, super proud of it. I've obviously never written a book before, so hopefully it's not terrible, but I feel great about it. There's going to be over 70 recipes. We've got breakfast, snacks, cocktails, mains, sandwiches, kind of everything you could think of. It's all in here. And the fun thing with this cookbook, too, is that there's a playlist that comes with it. So you guys know that I'm a huge music junkie, and I would like to give you guys a little bit of that, kind of set the mood for when you're having people over to the house and whining and dining and maybe having a romantic dinner. I don't know. I'm just here to provide the goods.
Yes.
So I've been working with McGregor and Ledecky Literary Agency and Post Hill Press. These are the brave people that have taken a chance on me to help me write this cookbook. So that's pretty much all of the information that I have for you guys right now. And once more information comes about of when it's going to be released, even the name of it, I'm honestly sort of still tossing stuff up in the air. I'm leaning towards Holy Bleep. That's good. But we'll see if that makes the cut or not. But yeah, it's going to be great. And you guys can find great meals like this. Fettuccine Alfredo. I'm just kidding. This isn't in the cookbook. I ordered it in, so I'm not allowed to leave the house. Cookbook, guys.
Sweet.
All right, guys. Today is finally the day.
We heard you already, Renee. We got you. Okay. Jamel bringing up when it comes out, I should do a review. Absolutely. I will absolutely review the cocktails that she's got on there. I will make a cocktail of hers on the show. How about that? Because we have been doing that recently here. Because Deanna and I, we made watermelon sangria for our anniversary. And oh my God, we were gone. We'll go ahead and put it that way. So yeah. Absolutely. I will definitely get her cookbook. I will make one of her cocktails here on the show. I got no problem with that. Hell yeah. You kidding me? Good sources. I am always for good sources. So yeah, that's one That's one thing I've been wanting to do, is trying to interview professional wrestlers while we have a drink and talk about drinks. Like, for one, the former, what's his name? The vaudevillain. Former Rusev Day. Him. He's a Scotch fanatic, is what he is. And so I've been trying to reach out to him to talk about Scotch. Aiden English. I've been trying to reach out to Aiden English to possibly talk Scotch with him. Not talk about wrestling at all. That's the thing. When I have professional wrestlers that I want to interview, I do not want to talk about shop with them. I want to talk about other things. Okay? Things that they will open up about. Stuff they love, their hobbies and stuff like that. So, yeah, Aiden English is who I'd like to get. But until then, I'll go ahead and pick up Rene Young's cookbook. I'll go ahead and pick that up and try out one of her cocktails. Sure, why the hell not? I don't care. Injury list. Updates to the injury front. Razar with a torn bicep. He's not going to be back until SummerSlam. Becky Lynch has got a tiny human in her tom-tom. She's not going to be back until WrestleMania times. Jinder Mahal, reparative knee surgery on the same knee that he ruptured his patella. He's not going to be back until October. Edge, torn tricep. I don't think he's due back until WrestleMania. Sorry. Charlotte Flair, surgery of some kind. We don't know. But the PW insiders and the F4W are the same way. They know it's a surgery. They think it's an arm surgery. They don't know. They have no idea of a timetable. Why we're hush-hush on this one, I'm not sure. Lars Sullivan, his knee was destroyed. ACL and MCL was destroyed back at WrestleMania 35. We have not seen him for over a year and a half. And he's still on the main roster. Xavier Woods with a torn Achilles. He's not going to be back until SummerSlam times. Ember Moon released details last week regarding her torn Achilles. And it is super, super, super bad. Apparently, it was already partially torn, and by the time she was having the surgery, it was off the bone. This is not a reparative surgery that's going to bring her back at SummerSlam times. I've got a feeling she may not be ready until Royal Rumble times. Her career may be over, but we'll see. Cross your fingers. Jimmy Uso, reparative knee surgery. He won't be back until Survivor Series. Elias, third injury in the last 2 years. Torn boob, torn pectoral muscle. He's not going to be back until WrestleMania of next year. Boa, torn rotator cuff and labrum. Boa is the male Chinese performer for NXT. He will not be back until SummerSlam times. And finally, Jessamine Duke, reparative elbow surgery on both elbows. She is not going to be back until SummerSlam times, but she is having fun cheering for everyone in the crowd during all of the TV shows. So, those are the people that are hurt. What about the people who aren't hurt? What about the people who are perfectly healthy? What about the people who haven't been on TV, WWE, pay-per-view, or otherwise for, say, 3 weeks? They end up on a very special list. A special list of my own design that only shrank by 3. Did not get bigger. It only shrank. But we got a lot of people that are going to be showing up if they don't show up on TV next week, and that's going to be happening. They're going to fear it. They're going to dread it because they have to hear my voice when it happens. It's the WWE milk carton. I'm so white and frisky and America's beautiful. Happy birthday, America. Kaboom! I still need to find a sounder for Milky the milk carton. I'm hoping that some of my very creative listeners can come up with that. Sorry, I'm too busy doing other things, like amassing my spreadsheet and database for the milk carton. So, don't know what to tell you. Tomato Chomper, haven't seen him since the June 7th NXT TakeOver In Your House pay-per-view, where he was handled mightily by Karrion Kross. Don't know what's happening with him. We're now approaching the 4th week that he has not been on television. Main roster? I'm sure you're going to be seeing rumors of that. I don't know. I see him. He's staying in NXT, in my opinion. He should be showing up sometime soon, I'm sure, to go after Karrion Kross again. Kairi Sane, everyone's favorite waifu. We haven't seen her since the June 1st episode of Monday Night Raw, where she was visibly destroyed by Nia Jax. Reports going out that could be apparent that she could be retiring from pro wrestling. I need to sit my sources real quick on this one, because I am so close. It is amazing how people, after the 2 matches that she's had with Nia Jax, and how they were just so visibly distraught that their favorite waifu was destroyed by a woman that could easily destroy them as well. They took it upon themselves to scold, chastise, and tear down Nia Jax that she's a horrible professional wrestler. And now they're going to put even more blame onto Nia Jax, saying that now Kairi Sane, their favorite waifu, is going to retire because of Nia Jax. I am locking this right now. We will see Kairi Sane before SummerSlam. I'm double locking that. I am double locking it. We will see Kairi Sane on television before before SummerSlam. She will be on television before SummerSlam. She's not retiring. She's not even hurt. She's been posting pictures on Twitter and Instagram. She's fine. She's taking time off. Double lock. Kairi Sane will be off the milk carton before SummerSlam. There's Jamel. Hell yes, Kairi shows up, which is but more importantly, I take shots if she doesn't. Yeah, I am doubly confident in that. I've done this crap before, and I've made horrible decisions from it doing double locks like this, but this one is warranted. This has gotten stupid, all right, to say that now she's forced into retirement from Nia Jax. Stop it. Your favorite waifu is coming back. All right? Fuck's sake. The Forgotten Sons, haven't seen them since the May 29th episode of SmackDown, where they delivered a monologue of some kind and gave some kind of salute of some kind. We haven't seen them for the past 5 weeks, mainly because Jackson Riker was a dumbass on Twitter. After the death of George Floyd, 2 days afterwards, the horrific death of George Floyd, Jackson Riker decided to go on the Twitter and praise President Donald Trump for all the work that he's done. Yeah. Yeah. So, Wesley Blake and Steve Cutler, why aren't you getting a paycheck? You have him to blame. Chelsea Green, we haven't seen her since the May 27th episode of NXT. Mediocre Lewis asking, know when you being sold to. That's right, she's going to be back. You're right. Chelsea Green, we haven't seen her since the May 27th episode of NXT, where after teaming up with Charlotte Flair and defeating Rhea Ripley and Io Shirai, she decided to fire her manager, Robert Stone, in an act of defiance and confidence that she is all hot shit. We haven't seen her since then, but Robert Stone's been on TV every week. So, your guess is as good as mine. Kushida Haven't seen him since that May 27th episode of NXT where he took part in a triple threat match between himself, Jake Atlas, and Drake Maverick to determine who the finalist would be in the Little Critter Interim Championship tournament thingy that Santos Escobar would end up winning. Drake Maverick won the triple threat match. In the past, we have learned that if you lose a match to Kushida on NXT, you are abducted by Los Conquistadores and thrown into an SUV. But what if you're Kushida? What happens to you? If you're Kushida and you lose a match, are you abducted by Los Conquistadores and thrown into an SUV? I'm not sure. Yeah, so, I think he's just gone. I don't know what else we could say about that. I don't know. Guess it's as good as mine. I'm just trying to figure it out. That's all. Shayna Baszler. Haven't seen her since the May 18th episode of Monday Night Raw, where she had a match against Natalya. It was apparently a submissions match, and we haven't seen her since then. Where the heck did she go? I don't know. I'm taking care of some things. I got you there, Jamel. Yep. Took care of that. Let me see. How do I put this? We did all we could with Shayna Baszler. How do I put this? There's got to be something wrong. Reports have been flying around all of the professional wrestling news sites about how Vince McMahon was so high up on Shayna Baszler and now he's not using her on television anymore. And now she's not on TV, but that's the reasoning they came up with. This is what I love, okay? I absolutely love this stuff, okay? This is the reason why I have the WWE milk carton. This is the reason why I made this, okay? Was so that you could see how long it's been since someone has been on television and you make your own inferences. If anyone else has not been watching this show and they see a report that Shayna Baszler isn't liked by Vince McMahon, they immediately think in their mind, oh yeah, I haven't seen her in a while. That's got to be the reason why they hasn't been on TV. It's got to be something else. She's been active on the Twitter. She praised Timothy Thatcher's match. She's on the Twitter. She's showing activity. Yeah. And I've got some talking about the Ages project that I'm going to be doing here with regards to, performers and everything. Shayna Baszler is 39 years old. Maybe she's taking some time off. Maybe she's having some surgery or rehabilitation of some kind. We're not sure. But she's not a spring chicken. She's 39 years old. Okay? There's got to be a report of some kind about what's happening with Shayna. It's definitely not that she's not in good favors of someone because she hasn't wrestled a match in about a month and a half. It's definitely not that. Bianca Belair. Haven't seen her since the May 11th episode of Monday Night Raw, where she was backstage giving Becky Lynch a hug because she's got a tiny human in her tom-tom. Recently, Bianca Belair and Montez Ford celebrated their wedding anniversary, and that's all cool and everything. She's been doing interviews on other WWE television programs via the WWE Network, providing interviews about when she joined the WWE and when she got in the Performance Center. But she hasn't done a thing on television in almost 2 months. What's going on here? If there's a story you want to say that someone might be falling out of favor It's this one, because she's appearing on television and streaming shows for the WWE, but not doing anything. Something is up here. Something is up with this one. I don't know what it is. And I'm not saying she's horrible. She's fantastic. I got to see her in the ring. In fact, this is the second straight female Raw performer we're talking about here. Shane Thorn. I previously mentioned earlier in the show that we haven't seen him since May 11th episode of Monday Night Raw, where he teamed up with some guy with the last name of Vink to face off against Ricochet and Cedric Alexander. I mean, Cedric the Entertainer and Richard O'Shea. I have no idea. He's going to be carted out soon. I don't know how many new profile pics this guy needs, because this is the third one he's had in the past 8 months. Carmella. Haven't seen her since the May 10th Money in the Bank women's ladder match. She is too busy making a podcast with her boy toy Corey Graves. She is not doing a darn thing on SmackDown, which is incredibly fascinating because recently, 2 weeks ago, I believe, 2 or 3 weeks ago, there was a segment involving Lacey Evans, Naomi, Dana Brooke, and maybe one other female about how they're not being used adequately and they're not being shown on SmackDown. Well, Carmella wasn't even among that group. I've got a feeling Carmella is no longer performing. Period. I don't think there's anything wrong with her physically. She's just choosing not to perform. She's afraid of the COVID, and there's something else happening. Double D, Dominic Dijakovic. We haven't seen him since the May 6th episode of NXT, where he faced off against the Johnny Gargano to confirm that Johnny Gargano is a thing. Johnny Gargano is a heel thing. He is continuing to do so. Reports are that Double D was going to be appearing on Monday Night Raw. We're not sure of that because on the main roster, it keeps labeling him as NXT. On his Twitter feed of Double D's, he has just been posting random pictures of Seth Rollins, Evolution, Randy Orton, Seth Rollins as the Messiah. He's just been posting random pictures of everyone who is on Monday Night Raw. That's basically it. Titus O'Neil, haven't seen him since the May 4th episode of Monday Night Raw, where he took part in a gauntlet match to determine who would be the final participant in the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. It doesn't matter what Titus O'Neil is doing right now because he is too busy saving the people of Tampa, Florida. He has housed them, he has clothed them, he's fed them, he's educated them. He is going to be the mayor of Tampa, Florida within 5 years. Pete Dunne. Haven't seen him since the April 15th episode of NXT, where he appeared on the Titantron thingy to say to Matt Riddle, hey, I can't help you defend the NXT Tag Team title, so here in my place is Timothy Thatcher, because I thought you would like Timothy Thatcher things more than you would like Pete Dunne things. Pete Dunne is trapped across the pond in the UK and is unable to return, and I don't think he's wanting to return anytime soon. He wants to stay in the UK and clean up the mess that's happening over there with the hashtag Speaking Out movement. Bork Laser. Haven't seen him since the April 5th, night 2 of WrestleMania, where he lost the WWE title to Drew McIntyre. We are not going to see Bork Laser anytime soon until there is a live crowd. Sami Zayn, haven't seen him since night 1 of WrestleMania on April the 4th, where he successfully defended the Intercontinental title against Daniel Bryan. He is locked across the border in Canada, and he is very vocal on the Twitter about his political beliefs and opinions about society, and that's all well and good. No problem with that, just as long as he understands there may not be much work for him if he comes across the border. Riddick Moss, we haven't seen him since the March 23rd episode of Monday Night Raw, where he was jogging throughout some kind of middle-class white suburbia and got pinned by R-Truth, losing the 24/7 title. Since then, we haven't seen him. It's been nearly 4 months. He's been locked out of his home, apparently. Someone find this man. He must be dining on the hydrangea bushes that are outside of Mrs. Garfield's house. Please, someone find him. Roman Reigns. Burden, 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 burden. Haven't seen him since the March 20th episode of SmackDown, where he and Goldberg signed a contract to have their match for the Universal title at WrestleMania. That match never happened. Instead, he has been spending time at home with his children, and it's not because he used to have leukemia and he believes that he is susceptible to spiking Nerf ball. It can't be because of that at all. Grizzled young veterans, Zack Gibson and James Drake. Haven't seen them since the March 11th episode of NXT, where they blindsided Pete Dunne and Matt Riddle after their successful defense of the NXT Tag Team titles against Undisputed Era. These guys are locked across the pond in NXT UK. They were once built up as to be a big thing. They are not a big thing because they haven't been on TV in nearly 4 months. Why are they still on the NXT main roster? Take them off. Why? Why are they there? AOP, even though Razar is hurt, I'm putting both of them on the milk carton. We haven't seen them since the March 9th episode of Monday Night Raw, where for the 5th or 6th straight week, we had Teddy Long specials.
Now, if all 4 of you want to mix it up, then we gonna do it right. I'm going to make this a tag team match.
6-man tags, 8-man tags involving AOP, Viking Raiders, Seth Rollins, and Murphy, and Samoa Joe, and Kevin Owens. All the time, forever, for everyone in praise and bask in glory. It was horrible. It was a horrible 5-week stretch. I feel so sad. I miss them. But now I've got El Legado del Fantasma. Robert Roode, haven't seen him since March 8th, the Elimination Chamber, where he teamed up with Dolph Ziggler to face off in the SmackDown Tag Team titles. That was in an Elimination Chamber match. He is trapped across the border in Canada, but he has been traded to Monday Night Raw in exchange for AJ Styles. Dolph Ziggler went along with that trade. Who knows when we're going to see this cat? Maria Shafir, haven't seen her since the March 4th episode of NXT, where she shoved a stick through a steel cage so that her hubby, Roderick Strong, could beat up Velveteen Dream. That didn't go along too well. She's too busy enjoying life as a mom and will be off the roster very soon. Mansoor, haven't seen him since the February 27th Super Showdown pay-per-view out of Riyadh, Jeddah, or Bismarck, South Dakota, because we aren't allowed to say what country he's really from, where he faced off against Dolph Ziggler, further conveying the fact that Mansoor only performs in his home country of South Dakota. Kona Reeves, haven't seen him since the February 19th episode of NXT, where he took a powder to Keith Lee after he had just won the NXT North American title in a record time of 25 seconds. Vanessa Bourne, haven't seen her since the January 15th episode of NXT, where she took part in a vagina-persuaded battle royale to determine who would be the #1 contender for the NXT Women's title, who at the time was Rhea Ripley. The winner of that battle royal ended up being Bianca Belair, and they fought at NXT TakeOver Portland in February. Take a sip of the sources. Get rid of the dry throat because we're dipping into 2019. Mustafa Ali, haven't seen him since the December 27th episode of SmackDown from last year, where he said inspirational shit. If he was the mysterious hacker that had been appearing on SmackDown, the hacker hasn't been seen in 5 weeks. Reports are that Mustafa Ali is going to be on Monday Night Raw. The roster page still says that he's on SmackDown. Who the fuck knows? Bo Dallas, haven't seen him since the November 15th episode of SmackDown from last year, where him, Drew Gulak, and Curtis Axel were in the ring making fun of Braun Strowman to lead up into Survivor Series. Curtis Axel is no longer with the WWE, and Drew Gulak is enjoying a great program alongside Daniel Bryan, so who the hell knows what's going to happen to Bo Dallas? Is he going to emerge from the swamp? Oh, he's got to emerge from the swamp. He's related to Bray Wyatt, don't you know? Finally, the stalwart of the WWE milk cart. It's now approaching I keep saying 10 or 11 weeks, but I'm not really sure. I think it's 10 weeks. We are 10 weeks away from a brand new golden gallon of the WWE milk carton. A golden gallon is someone who has not appeared on WWE television or pay-per-view programming in a calendar year and is part of the main roster. The Colognes made it before they were released last April. This guy is approaching soon. I need to have a construction paper ring of some kind that I'm going to break off every single time that I say this man's name, and that man's name is Arturo Ruas. Who? Arturo Ruas, we have not seen him since the September 18th episode of NXT. The debut episode of NXT on the USA Network. We have not seen him since then, where he had a match against Pete Dunne to confirm that Pete Dunne was a thing. Pete Dunne absolutely became a thing, and for Arturo Ruas' reward, he was never shown on television again. I'm going to try to do quick math here on how long will it be until September the 18th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It will be, it's 11 weeks. 11 weeks is the way it's looking. Yeah. 11 weeks. I will construct a construction paper ring. I am dead confident that Arturo Ruas will be our brand new golden gallon. He's not appearing on television anytime soon. If anything, he's going to be released before then. He's perfectly healthy. He's got tweets. He's active on it. He's not showing anything wrestling related. That's for damn sure. So there you go. That's the WWE milk carton. Who could be showing up later after this week? A lot of people. If they don't show up on television. Kevin Owens will probably not show up. He has quarantined himself in Canada. Velveteen Dream probably won't show up. I should have him off this list because he's being injured from a car accident, but we haven't gotten the details about it yet. But I'll go ahead and take him off my list and consider him injured. Shotzi Blackheart, Killian Dane, Danny Burch, Sonya Deville, Otis, Mandy Rose, Tucker, all four of them involved in that little weird program going on. Bray Wyatt, but he's going to probably show up. Mojo Rawley, Shorty G, Tamina, Naomi, you name it. I got a lot of people that are going to be showing up on the milk carton if they don't show up on TV next week. Right now, the WWE milk carton is right now 30 deep. It's the smallest it's been in a while. It's probably going to hit 40, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. All right. On to the project that I have been working on for the past handful of weeks. So it all happened. Well, you know what? Let's just do the transition first. This project literally started about a month and a half ago, where I remember us recapping NXT and saw Bobby Fish and saw just how he looked, how gray he was, how grizzled he looked, and I just started going, how old is he? He has got to be really old. We looked up his age and were amazed. And so it dawned on me, mediocre James. Later, James. Then it dawned on me, God dang, Bobby Fish is that old? Well, how old is everybody? So I enacted this little project where I researched everyone's age on the WWE main roster. And then last week, during the week on the Twitter, I posted the question, when is a professional wrestler considered to be in their prime? An overwhelming majority of you said it was between the ages of 30 and 35. Which then led me to thinking, okay, so if you're in the prime and you're 30 to 35, then that leads me to wonder, how over the hill are those that are over 40? You know? How soon could we be seeing those over 40 leave the WWE? Or, you know, not leave, but put onto restricted performing, if they're able to do so. So, here we go. My grand statistical dive into how old everyone is and how the WWE should really be paying attention to the battle that they have against Father Time. All right. See if I can do this. There we go. Okay. Currently on the WWE main roster are 151 performers. That is between Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. Oh my God, that's a lot of performers. They just released a ton of them back in April. After this year's WrestleMania, they had 166 performers on the main roster. There's now 151. So, cool your jets, okay? Cool your jets. How do I have I am not going to have... Fruit Fly, if you like my sources so much, take a bath in them. There. Enjoy that, you little son of a bitch. All right. 151 performers on the main roster between Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. No, we already went over that shit. Wait a minute, let me go back. There we go. Of those 151 performers, 36 of them are under the age of 30. That prime age that everyone said was 30 to 35, 72. Nearly over half of the performers on the WWE's main roster are in that prime age of 30 to 35. Between the ages of 36 and 40, 28. But the one I want to concentrate on is over the age of 40. 10% of the WWE's main roster are over 40. I want to concentrate on that one, okay? But before we do that, there's some other interesting statistical numbers I thought I'd bring up to you. On Monday Night Raw, there are 48 performers that are designated to the Monday Night Raw roster, according to WWE's main roster page. Of the 48 performers that are on Monday Night Raw, the average age of the Monday Night Raw performer is 34.8. That is including performers that are hurt or have a tiny human in their tum-tum. So yeah, 34.8 is the average age of those that perform on Monday Night Raw. NXT is interesting. There are 55 performers under the NXT banner. 55. The average age of your NXT performer, 31.03. This includes those that are hurt. It's everybody. 55 performers. It's a lot of people for their developmental show that they broadcast on Wednesday. 31.03 is the average age of your NXT performer who is in their prime. Who's in their prime? Now, There was a claim that I made around about that time where we were discovering how old Bobby Fish was. When it comes to SmackDown. Initiator saying if you go back and include the numbers of the performers during the last year's Superstar Shakeup, it rises considerably. Yeah, it might. No, it probably does. It probably rises considerably. No, you're right. If I'd have kept Gallows and Anderson on there, oh yeah, it would have risen a lot. But there was a claim that I made about SmackDown where I believed that of the 3 television shows, Raw, NXT, and SmackDown is definitely the better show. And the reason it may be the better show is because it has the more experienced performers on it. They may have the oldest performers on it. Boy, was I wrong. Friday Night SmackDown has got the same number of performers designated to it as Monday Night Raw does. Yet their average age is less than Monday Night Raw's by about a year and a half. Doug, how can that be? You can't tell me Edge is taking up that with Monday Night Raw. They've also got R-Truth. Also got Big Show. Yeah. So it kind of amazed me that SmackDown and Raw both have, first off, this should floor you, that the 3-hour television show has got the same amount of performers on it as the 2-hour Friday night show. That makes no sense. That makes no sense. How come these 2 shows have got the same number of performers on it? Makes no sense to me. But on top of that, SmackDown's average age of their performer is lower than Monday Night Raw's. Who'da thunk? That's why I do the research. I got no problem being proven wrong. That's why I do this. You know, we all learn. So, there's that. Another thing I wanted to look up was when it came to injuries. There are currently 11 performers on the injury list, injured or otherwise being Tiny Human in the Tum Tum. What are the ages of them? Of those 11 injured performers, Edge is the only performer who is not in that prime age range of 30 to 35. Everyone else is in that prime range of 30 to 35. Kind of striking. Oh, by the way, Edge is 46 years old. So, to look back once again, of the 151 performers that are under the WWE's main roster, 36 of them under the age of 30, twice that many, 72 between the ages of 30 to 35, that prime range that everyone says it is. 28 of them are between 36 and 40, but the one you want to pay attention to is that last one. 15 performers on WWE's main roster are over the age of 40. Is the WWE prepared for the exodus of those performers over 40? Can you imagine, in your mind, can you think of who they are right now? Just kind of guess silently in your head who they could be. I mentioned Edge is 46 years old. Okay. He's one of them. Who else? A lot of numbers. I mentioned R-Truth and Big Show. Anyone else? Well, I'm going to go over this list of 15 WWE main roster performers that are over the age of 40. And I want to add 2 caveats to them. Number 1, what is their value to the main roster? Do they serve a significant purpose to the main roster? What I mean by that is the programs that they're in, are they mainstays on television? Is like television programming dependent on them? And number 2, are they a gatekeeper of some kind? Are they used as gatekeeper talent for those moving into the roster? What is their main roster value, these people that are over 40? Number 2, will they retire within 3 years? I asked that question, and I really hate speculating on that, but it's because of that. You've got to wonder, is the WWE prepared for this performer's exit? Are they prepared for their exit? Are they that substantial of a performer that when they do leave, they're fine? This is the list of WWE main roster performers that are over the age of 40. Bobby Fish started off with the one that started off my project. He is 43 years old. He is the only member of the NXT roster over the age of 40. What is his main roster value? It's very low. He's part of a stable. He is their fall guy in the stable. They can easily add anyone else to be a part of Undisputed Era to be a fall guy. Odds of retiring within 3 years? Oh, very, very high. Yeah, you wouldn't even notice him being gone. And not saying it's sad or anything, but it's true. And it's not a downplay to him as a performer at all. He has served his purpose. Not a problem. No, not Initiator asking. No, I'm only counting those that are over the age of 40. Over the age of 40. You're not 40 years old. Over 40. Tamina, the only female on this list that is over the age of 40, she's 42 years old. What is her main roster value? I know on the Twitter that she's been posting little vignettes of trying to introduce a brand new character who's locked in an insane asylum of some kind, but that has not appeared on WWE television at all. No, her main roster value is incredibly low, even though she had a title match against Karen for the SmackDown Women's title. We've only seen her once since that match at Money in the Bank. Odds of retiring within 3 years, very, very high. You wouldn't notice her, but she would make a fantastic trainer. Fantastic trainer, period. She's not really that good of a character actor, but when it comes... if you're going to get some more full-figured women in professional wrestling, that's who I want to train them. Jeff Hardy is 42 years old. He's right now in a program with Sheamus where they just delivered a toast of some kind on SmackDown. They're going to be having a match in Extreme Rules, I'm sure. But it's because of that his main roster value is incredibly low. Right now, we're in a throwaway program with Sheamus. What are we going to do with Jeff Hardy after that? Who knows? And the thing is, again, Jeff Hardy has really only been used to bring up the value of those that have been on the roster for a while. There's nothing that we've done with Jeff Hardy that has bolstered the value of anyone else that could be 10 years younger than him. He's also been off television and pay-per-view for nearly a year due to reparative surgery on his knee and being a drunken asshole in the Carolinas. He's right now riding out the last months of his contract. He is due to be released after Royal Rumble. That will be after he has ridden out his injury time. He was supposed to be released at the same time Matt Hardy was when his contract expired. But because of injury time, we aren't going to see that happen until after Royal Rumble. Odds of him retiring within 3 years? Oh, absolutely high. He's done. Once this contract is done with the WWE, he is done. Rey Mysterio, 45 years old. Yeah, short little guy, 45 years old. I'd always call him short little guy because I saw the cardboard cutout of him over in WrestleMania 28's WWE Access. He's a short little shit. Rey Mysterio, 45 years old. He is right now involved in a program with his son, Dominic, squaring off against Seth Rollins and everyone else involved with that. The main roster value right now is low with him. I don't see any major purpose that I would want with him after his program. Honestly, once Dominic is established by him, Rey can go on off into the sunset. We don't need him for anything else. We don't need him to confirm anyone else or verify anyone else as a heel or a champion. We don't. Rey Mysterio's done it. That's why I say the odds of him retiring in 3 years is very, very high. Mentioned it before. Edge, 46 years old. He's right now injured with a tricep tear, and he's not going to be due back around WrestleMania times, though I'm sure he'll probably come back earlier than that. But I have his main roster worth as very high, because he strikes me as someone that wants to work within this group to confirm and verify. Right now, he's got this program going with Randy Orton to confirm grit. He's gotten an injury. Doesn't matter anymore. He's going to have another match with Randy Orton, I guess. I don't know. But it's because of just that name worth and having only one program with Randy Orton that there is so much more that he can do on the main roster. That's why his worth is so high. He has only come back since Royal Rumble and had one program, and it's been that same program with Randy Orton to confirm that he's a thing. Fortunately, he's hurt, but he's now confirmed to be a thing. So if he were to come back, he can take that rub can go off onto other performers. However, the odds of him retiring within 3 years are very, very high. I can only see him doing one more match after WrestleMania, and that's it. I can't see him going any further. Sheamus, 42 years old, was diagnosed 3 years ago, I believe, 3 or 4 years ago, with spinal stenosis, the same injury that Edge had that retired him 10 years ago. Sheamus has been very sparse on the main roster. Him coming back and having middling programs with Shorty G and Apollo Crews on SmackDown, and now has a long-term program with Jeff Hardy on SmackDown. The problem is his return has made his main roster value incredibly low. He has not confirmed or verified anyone underneath him as a thing. It would be great to see him and Braun Strowman go at it to confirm that Braun Strowman is a fighting champion. It would be great to see him square off against performers like Drew Gulak or Big E to confirm that they are better than just underscored people to Daniel Bryan or just another tag team member. Sheamus should be doing more, but he isn't. And I don't see him doing more for a while. And it's because of that prognosis of spinal stenosis, I see his odds of retiring very high. But Edge came back after it. Yeah, after 9 years. I don't see him coming back. I don't see anything worthwhile happening with Sheamus until after his Jeff Hardy program, where he retires Jeff Hardy. Then he may go after the title, and then he might retire. It's kind of what I'm looking at. Big Show, 48 years old, one of the 2 oldest performers on the WWE main roster. His roster value, incredibly low. He's only been used to fight off big ninjas and now be a part of this program to show that Randy Orton is an asshole. Just because Edge isn't there. So we got to use the Big Show in it to fill Edge's place. So be it. That's fine. But that's all we're doing. We aren't using him to confirm or deny anything. Well, it's the Big Show. So no, we're not doing anything substantial with the Big Show. You won't miss him. We got lots of big men in the pot. We got Braun Strowman. That's one. You want another big man? We got Babatunde coming down the pipe. Look him up. Babatunde is going to be a big deal. Just watch, okay? But Big Show, he's also enjoying having a sitcom on Netflix right now, so don't worry about him. he's good to go. Surefire Hall of Famer. He's going to retire within the next 3 years. But Keith Lee, I would also rank. Yes, Jamel, rank Keith Lee as another big man. Robert Roode, 43 years old, locked across the border in Canada. Only association he has is with Dolph Ziggler and being a tag team. He's supposed to be on Monday Night Raw, but we haven't seen him since the Elimination Chamber. Main roster value is incredibly low because he has not been an impact at all to SmackDown or Raw since he came from NXT. But his odds of retiring are incredibly low because of how sparse he's been used and how physically capable he is. He could still be on this roster for another 3 to 4 years. He could still be used as a gatekeeping mid-carder. And that's kind of what I'm viewing him as. He's a gatekeeper. He's a mid-card gatekeeper, much like how Matt Hardy was in the early 2000s. Mid-2000s. I would keep Robert Roode where he is, but he is there to confirm and verify the up-and-coming baby faces that you may have. Serves a purpose. He's good to go. He's never been injured. He's good to go, and he's very safe in the ring as well. Shelton Benjamin. He's 44 years old. Doing little things in the ring here and there. He's most recently took part as a cameo appearance in the program involving MVP Bobby Lashley and Apollo Crews for the United States title on Monday Night Raw. That's the most we've seen him on television in the past 9 months. However, his roster value is just as high as Robert Roode's is because of that gatekeeper mentality. He is safe to work with in the ring. He doesn't do anything outlandish, and he's great for that gatekeeper role if I've got a babyface that loves to do catch, like Matt Riddle over on SmackDown. If I've got someone else who's going to be a technical performer on Monday Night Raw that's going to be a babyface, I put Shelton Benjamin with him. Gatekeeper. That's why his roster value is so high. And that's why I don't see him retiring in 3 years. He is safe in the ring. He doesn't do anything stupid. It wouldn't surprise me, though, if he does retire, he'd make a great agent. Make a great producer. But until then, there's a place for Shelton Benjamin. And I'm not saying he should be on TV every week, but there's a place for him. Titus O'Neil, 43 years old. Absolutely no value on the main roster. He doesn't do jack. Last time we saw him, he was trying to get a spot for the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. That was the first time he had been on TV in the past 6 months. Actually, the last time we saw him, he was on WrestleMania telling us that he can't believe what he just saw in the Bray Wyatt-John Cena match. WrestleMania Night 2. Titus O'Neil is saving Tampa, Florida right now. Main roster value is incredibly low, but he's so healthy that he's not going to be retiring anytime soon, and they don't want him to retire. If anything, with Titus O'Neil, I see him being a manager. I see him being a different role in the television program. I could see him being the new commissioner for Monday Night Raw. I could see him being the new Teddy Long. Can you imagine hearing this, but in Titus O'Neil's voice?
Now, if all 4 of you want to mix it up, then we're going to do it right. I'm going to make this a tag team match.
I can imagine Titus O'Neil being the new Teddy Long. I think it'd be fantastic. It's made for him. It's perfectly made for him. MVP. Now, I had to make an exception here because MVP is not on the main roster, but he's been on television more than a lot of people who are on the main roster right now. So I put MVP on here. He's 46 years old. His main roster value is incredibly high right now. He has established himself as a fantastic manager, as a fantastic mouthpiece. He said after Royal Rumble that was going to be the last time you were ever going to see him in the ring. Well, nope, we've seen him in the ring after that. So we can't believe a damn thing he's saying because he's selling to us. But MVP as a manager has incredible roster value. That's why I see him staying around for a very long time. That's why I do not see him retiring within 3 years. He is a mainstay now on this main roster. He's one of the focal characters of Monday Night Raw right now. Bork Laser, 42 years old. Haven't seen him since night 2 of WrestleMania. He's not going to appear in front until there's a live audience, and that's not going to be for another 12 to 18 months. 42 years old. Do I really need to convince you why his roster value is so high? No. Do I need to try to convince you why he's not going to retire within 3 years? No. He's perfectly healthy, perfectly safe in the ring, keeps, great check of himself. He's good to go. He ain't going anywhere anytime soon. Finally. Well, not close to finally. We're almost there. AJ Styles, the current Intercontinental Champion on SmackDown. 43 years old. That's one grimy picture of AJ Styles, too, I gotta tell you. 43 years old. Main roster value, way up there. Makes anybody look good. When you have a match against Drew Gulak, made it look pretty good. I mean, you didn't make it look Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles good, but damn near tried. It's up there. AJ Styles right now is the workhorse of the people over 40. His roster value is way up there. But will he retire within 3 years? I'm not sure how long his contract is. But he works incredibly safe in the ring. He's not doing dives or anything like that. He's not doing stupid shit. I don't see him leaving in 3 years. He's way too valuable. If I need to confirm anyone that they're a main event talent, it's AJ Styles that I pit him up against. Not sure when his contract ends, though. Once his contract ends, sure, definitely see him retiring, but I'm not sure what that is. But right now, AJ Styles is the workhorse of this main roster over 40. Safe as all in the ring. Great at telling a story. Fantastic. He's the one I'm worried about the most. Is he going to retire within 3 years? And when he does, that is a void. To have that kind of a talent to make any other talent look good. That's why they gave him the mid-card belt. The problem is, on SmackDown, we don't have a lot to go after the mid-card belt. Right now, they're pushing AJ Styles, Matt Riddle. Is that the final project that AJ Styles has, is trying to make Matt Riddle look good? I'm not sure. Bobby Lashley, 43 years old. It's hard to imagine that. Bobby Lashley, 43 years old. His main roster value, I'm putting way up there. I got a powerhouse heel on my main roster that I want to get a babyface in peril as main event status. This is who I sick on him. If I got a babyface that I believe is great in peril, I'm sicking Lashley on him. Yeah, Bobby Lashley is older than Bork Laser. Yeah, imagine that. But if I've got a babyface talent that I want to get over into main event, that is the underdog, the true underdog, and I'm talking upper echelon belt status. I am not talking sick Mustafa Ali on Bobby Lashley. No. Someone who I've been building for a year to go after a world title. I'm sicking Bobo Lashley on him. He's safe, doesn't dive, doesn't do any stupid shit. I don't see him retiring in 3 years either. He's going to be a mainstay too. I know it's hard to believe too, with all the programs that we gave Bobby Lashley over the past 2 years after he returned to the WWE. But we had Bobby Lashley versus Drew McIntyre, and it worked. R-Truth. Next to Big Show, the oldest performer on the WWE main roster. 48 years old is this guy. 48 years old. How many times has he won the 24/7 title? Like 35? Something like that? To question his value to the main roster is to question anyone else's faith in R-Truth and being entertaining. R-Truth's value to the main roster is staggering right now. When he leaves the main roster, you're going to notice it. Okay? There is no one that can fill the void that R-Truth has on the main roster. No one. This is a character that's been built up for nearly 6 years as a tremendous comedic character. Shows up on TV and says stupid words. Goes in the ring, dances, gets beat up, then rolls up someone to get his 24/7 title. That's all he does. Jobber extraordinaire. Are you kidding me? If I want to put over a heel powerhouse, I send R-Truth out there. Gatekeeper. Gatekeeper for powerhouse heels. It's going to be a sad day when he retires. But I don't see him going away after 3 years. This guy keeps himself together. He is safe in the ring, safe in his training. He is good to go. I can see him going all the way until he's 53. Damn it. Good for him, huh? Here's the big one. Samoa Joe, 41 years old. Ever since being diagnosed with a concussion back around February, mid-January, February, he has not, we don't know if he's passed concussion protocol, but since then, he has been on the commentary table for the past 6 weeks. We don't know what's going on here. It's fantastic on the commentary table, don't get me wrong. But is he going to be performing again anytime soon? We don't know. We really don't know. But he's healthy. We just don't know if he's past concussion protocol or not. His roster value is insanely high. Why is it insanely high? Because I can put him in a main event just like that. Just like no question. I put him in the main event. It doesn't matter about confirmation or denial or verification. It doesn't matter. I want to go to main event. I got Samoa Joe right there. So, do we see him retiring within 3 years? Probably not. He is still way overdue for a WrestleMania, a good WrestleMania. He had mid-card title match against Rey Mysterio that lasted a handful of minutes because Rey Mysterio was injured. It had nothing to do with Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe is overdue for a WrestleMania moment. They keep They keep lauding and taunting for a WrestleMania moment. Well, Samoa Joe is one that is long overdue for one. That's why I've got him booked for Drew McIntyre at next year's WrestleMania. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's a slow brew. This is a slow, percolating brew to have Samoa Joe doing interviews and doing commentary. He's been on TV the entire time. It's going to happen. You watch Samoa Joe come back from behind the commentator's desk to be an entrant for the Royal Rumble and win it. You watch. You watch. That's something I'd book right there. I think I just did. So those are the 15 performers that are there over the age of 40. Samoa Joe being one of the prominent ones to me, because he's just been behind a commentary desk. But his value is so high. Been there for so long. So, it's going to be interesting. The only thing was, when it came to this Ages project, was I was about to show 10 performers that were in their prime that I believed you should keep an eye on, but I didn't want to do that just because my views of professional wrestling and what I think it is and what it isn't doesn't match up with everyone else's. So I can't make those calls. But the only thing that I can really make a call on is how old people are and how they're being used. And if we'll really miss them if they are that big of a focus. So, it was fun to do. This was a fun project. I think I might dip into those 72 performers that are between the age of 30 and 35 and kind of weed out, my top 10 between the 30 and 35 range of who's going to break out. Who is in their prime? Who is in their prime right now? That'd be something to talk about. That sounds pretty good to me. Yeah, I'm a smart cookie. Thank you all so much for stopping by for Wrestleview Weekly. No, this was fun. This was a fun little project. Yeah, just noticing how old Bobby Fish was and see what happens. Tune in tomorrow. The effervescent one, Mike, and the queen of Wrestleview, Victoria, will cover Monday Night Raw immediately following it here on the Wrestleview YouTube channel. Also, next Sunday, yes, it will be the same time. Next Sunday, Wrestleview Weekly, 5 o'clock. What are we going to talk about? Probably what I just talked about right there. Who are my 10 favorite wrestlers in their prime in the WWE main roster? Who do I have the most faith in? Who can I be talked out of? We'll see. Maybe you guys can find some ones that we don't agree with. I don't know. Makes for good discussion. That's what we do. We don't belittle each other. We don't insult each other. Just like hearing different opinions. That's what makes good talk. That makes good debate. And that's what makes good friends. That's correct. Everyone stay safe. Mushoon Gills, Jamel, everyone in the chat room, Daniel going, wee! You guys have a great weekend. Don't be an asshole. Wear your mask. Don't be a jerk. Be safe to each other. Be nice to each other, for God's sakes, please. Initiator going, wee! Yes. Thank you all so much for stopping by. Be nice to each other. And as always, know when you're being sold to.